door style. But thanks to all of you for being here. My name is Wayne Lippert. I was born and raised in the Cincinnati area. I currently live on the city's east side in Hyde Park with my wife and 3 young children, 7 and twins that are now 5. I'm a financial advisor and part owner of an investment management firm, actually up in the Blue Ash area. We need to get my firm down in the Cincinnati area because we need more taxpayers. But anyway, I've been in that capacity for the past, in the financial services industry for the past 11 to 12 years, and believe my skill set that I obtained through TruePoint will be of value going forward on council. You know, I was appointed to council in March by former Councilman Jeff Birding, and I always like to point out that it was a significant moment in our city because Jeff was actually a registered Democrat, and he gave Chris Forrest the power to choose his successor, and Chris is a charter writer, and together they appointed me, who was an endorsed Republican that was already running for council. And it's really this type of nonpartisanship that I think we need to help move our city forward. I spent some time living outside of Cincinnati. I worked for now Senator Rob Portman down in Washington, D.C. for about 4 years. Went to business school down there and then worked for a boutique investment firm up in the New York City area. But being away from Cincinnati really made me appreciate our city for everything it has to offer. We've got large companies, we've got medium companies, and we've got small companies that are quickly growing. We've got an excellent art museum, the zoos. I love taking my family to the zoo. And two professional sports franchises. We really have everything that a big city has going for it, but in a smaller size. And on my time on council, I'd like to continue to build on these strengths to move forward. But as you know, we're at an important point in our city. We're facing most likely a deficit in the range of $15 to $30 million, which is quite significant, given that we have about $350 million operating budget in our general fund. You know, a lot of my colleagues think, and a lot of candidates think raising taxes, finding an alternative source of revenue is an answer to the budget crisis. But I think if we raise property taxes, earnings taxes, or even a tax on stock options, I think the risk is that we just drive more residents and more businesses out. I mean, just imagine what a tax on stock options would do to a company like Procter or even Fifth Third that rely on giving their employees that form of compensation. I think the risk is too great. One of the other solutions to our budget crisis also has been to lay off police officers and potentially some firefighters too. Again, I think public safety is a core city service. You look at fire and police, your roads, and your garbage pickup. It doesn't get as simple as that. Public safety is a core city service that must be maintained. We've seen significant cost savings through attrition in both the fire and police department, and it would actually cost the city money in the first year if we started laying off officers. And we've got a new chief in town. I think it's time to let him look for efficiencies in his own department before we start laying off officers, because we need as many people on the streets as possible. So what do we do to solve the crisis? I think we need to be looking at common sense solutions such as shared services, looking at overlap between city-county agencies, and even the privatization of certain city departments. But ultimately, it's going to be jobs. Jobs are going to help get us out of this financial mess long term. So how do we create jobs? I'm particularly supportive of outside entities such as 3CDC, the Uptown Consortium, and the Port Authority. If you look at their track record of success in creating jobs, it's been tremendous. Look at the Queen City Tower, not too far, just right across the street from here. That is a direct result of the Port Authority's efforts. That was put up in a matter of a few years. And by contrast, if you look at the Banks project down there, which has largely been a publicly run project, it's taken nearly a decade from the time we first started talking about it, and it's still not completed yet. So I'm a big believer in supporting these outside entities, such as 3CDC, Uptown, and the Port, to help create jobs moving forward. Now, we need to keep an open mind about all economic development projects, including the streetcar. And I have an open mind about rail. I lived in Washington, D.C., and I lived in New York, where rail is a significant part of the quality of life there and moving people around. But as I look at the streetcar project now, it doesn't make sense to me. You know, the administration was forced to reduce the route because of the loss of some state funding, so it doesn't connect 2 major job centers any longer, uptown and downtown. Secondly, I don't think we have a clear view as to how much the total cost of the project is going to be. Cincinnati Business Courier did a great article not too long ago outlining the costs or the potential costs of the utility relocation. Duke Energy, MSD, Waterworks, we still haven't gotten accurate accounting as to how much it's going to move those, and the revenue source hasn't been identified. So I think the project is just too risky to move